Hey there folks, it's me TheTacticalBrit, your home of breakdowns, guides and everything in between. The Call of Duty beta is very much nearly upon us. It's really exciting, and today I wanted to dive into some hot tips that you guys should be using in the new beta, primarily because this is quite a bit of a departure away from traditional Call of Duty, and as somebody who's got a bit more hands-on and had to see some of the stuff that's in the game, I just wanted to give you guys a really good sense of what's going to be happening in this beta and how to get accustomed to it nice and quickly. The beta is going to be featuring a lot of the feature sets in the game, like Gunsmith, like everything in between. It's going to allow you to create characters and customize them in terms of how they play and gameplay-wise as much as you could possibly imagine, and that's something to really come to grips with nice and early. Now, before I continue this video, I've got two quick messages. Number one, keep an eye out on my Twitter account and also here on YouTube. I have some really awesome news coming your way about the Call of Duty beta relatively soon. This is some really cool shit. The guys at Call of Duty UK have been in touch with me, and yeah, just some really cool stuff's going to happen. It's a great opportunity for you guys, it's going to be fun for me as well, so just keep your eyes peeled over the coming days. Also, this video is brought to you by my friends over at Aorus Gaming. If you're looking to upgrade before the beta, or are looking to make some improvements and purchases across the year, these guys do all of my PC hardware. I highly recommend them. They also have recently released a brand new line of tactical FPS monitors which will improve your performance in first-person shooters. Check them out in the link below. So let's start off. Now, most of this video is going to focus on specialization, and the reason I say this is because there is a sort of two-set way to look at the new Call of Duty. Now, you can either try and be the jack of all trades, which is something that I think a lot of people try to do in most traditional FPS games. I think the best example of this is the M416. I think the M416 in most first-person shooters represents a gun that also does relatively well at CQB, but does well at ranges as well. The SCAR also springs to mind. Some of the sort of mid-range AK variants also spring to mind, but you guys know what I'm talking about. AUG assault rifles, M416s, you know, their fire rates are around about 700 RPM, they do relatively well at range, they do pretty good up front but won't beat an SMG, but ultimately are the jack of all trades. Now, these kinds of weapons are available in the game. There's certainly lots of them in terms of assault rifles. You can deck out the AUG SMG to add 5.56 ammunition and turn it into an AUG assault rifle, so again, plenty of options in these departments, and you can have weapons that also feature like 3x and 4x scopes that you can switch to a red dot sight with. So if you want to use something at range and then switch to a close quarters situation, again, these are all situations that are available to you. Now, on the flip side of that is specialization, and I say this because this is something that's very apparent in the game, whether it's using weapon perks or perks that you have, but also in terms of just the stuff you're using. For those of you who watched my live stream, you'll remember that when I was in Gunsmith, I could do stuff like create a ultra CQB AK-47. I could basically turn it into an AK-74U. I could add quick magazines, I could reload faster, I could add a lightweight stock or get rid of it completely, I could decrease ADS time, I could do a manner of things that would make my character more maneuverable and create a fast-paced player. Also, I could do stuff that would slow down my player but make him a long-range heavy hitter, and more or less anything in between. You can basically specialize your characters in order to perform in a certain aspect incredibly well, or try to perform reasonably well in all of them. Now, the reason this specialization becomes incredibly important is because it completely changes and reshapes the way you need to think about creating classes. Now, traditionally in Call of Duty, a lot of us would go, this is my AR, this is my SMG, this is my sniper rifle, let's go. But no longer really is there a case where that's going to work. You're going to be faced with lots of various different environments that will have entirely different engagement ranges. Now, this is basically how you're going to have to form your classes and what you're going to do with them. And I highly recommend entirely fixating your classes on both engagement ranges, but also in terms of environment. So, say for example, you have some of the more CQB maps in the upcoming beta. We don't really know everything yet, but there are going to be close quarters ones, there will be medium and long range maps, and especially towards launch this is going to become apparent as well. You're going to rather have classes that kind of cater towards that than having, this is my sniper class, because as great as a sniper class is, you'll actually find that maybe in medium range maps you need a marksman rifle like the MK14, because again, you're going to find situations where it's all in all great having these weapons and dedicated classes for dedicating things, but you're very quickly going to be at odds end if you don't have a weapon or class that suits the situations you regularly find yourself in. So I would recommend having these classes. I'd recommend having a jack of all trades, be it something like having one of the assault rifles in, having the AUG as an assault rifle, and making it relatively maneuverable but not too cumbersome. You know, you don't want to necessarily put a long barrel on it and slow it down. At the same time, you don't necessarily want a lightweight stock to make it super fast CQB. Just have a gun that is relatively neutral. Have something that perhaps gives you maybe a quick reload, a 3 to 4 times optic with a reticle that you can switch between. Just something that is going to do the job across all ranges. This is going to be hugely important. And the reason I say that is because if you find that the rest of your classes aren't suiting a situation, your jack of all trades class will at least do the best at doing so. And I think you've seen in a lot of maps already, there are some huge stretches of open space, but there also are some super close quarters areas. So having a class like this is going to be really, really vital. The next one I would say is having a fast upfront hitter. You want something with a rapid rate of fire, you want something with quick aim down sight, you want something that is just the speed of all speed demons. And this is going to be for those maps that traditionally put you into close quarters engagements of around about 20 meters or less. You want something with fast reloads, you want something that's just going to do the job nice and quickly. Now, in the new Call of Duty, there are plenty of options for this. You have the MP7, you have the MP5, you have the AUG SMG variant. I personally find that the MP5 is really good, but you can go really in depth with this. The MP5 can be turned into the MP5K quite easily by sawing off the stock, adding some quick magazines, and making it a CQB weapon. So again, you really want to specialize here, don't try and hit a middle ground. You want something that's just going to be a sheer powerhouse at close ranges. And really make sure you're looking at the lists of pros and cons on your attachments. You're going to find that if you have too many cons that encumber your speed, then you're choosing the wrong attachments. Now, don't be alarmed or worried or avoid choosing attachments that make you quicker but also trade off other things. You'll find that you'll be able to refine this much more as you play with that individual class. You'll learn, for example, that, I don't know, maybe that stock didn't work too well, you felt a little bit too sluggish, or you felt a little bit too quick and it kind of affected something else, but have that specialized class, have that thing that's going to be pure damage upfront and personal every time you need it. Moving on, you're going to have a sniper rifle. Now, sniper rifles, again, like I said, you do want the multi-versatile classes, but it's always good to have at least one sniper class. Just have it in the background of your mind. It's not an important class, so to speak, but it's one worth having. And then I definitely have a marksman rifle class. Now, don't make this a long-range variant. Leave the sniper to be your long-range engagement class, but definitely have something like the MK14 available on standby. Now, I don't recommend putting long-range scopes on this because you get tunnel vision. Have a medium-range scope on this thing. And I wouldn't even recommend having a side reticle or canted sight. I'd simply just go with the medium scope because that's the engagements you're going to be needing to get into. This thing is more or less a 2-hit kill. It's something I highly recommend in terms of just moving from position to position. And think about perhaps using overkill or think about using an automatic secondary. And the reason I say this is because a marksman rifle and sniper rifle are typically only as good as their positional movement. The reason these rifles fail so often is because you have that one guy who's like, yeah, I'm just going to sit in this window and gun everybody down with zero console. Oh wait, they know I'm in the window. Shit, I'm dead. That happens every time. Don't do that. You want to be able to rotate positions. You want to be able to move and maneuver around the map. So really think about having something that's going to do you justice at close quarters engagements. If the truth is that you have a really good lockdown or a really good line of sight on a location, the likelihood is that the counter to that is somebody either trying to outsnipe you, which you should back yourself in, or somebody trying to rush your building. And if they rush your building, they're instantly in a close quarters engagement, and you should have the upper hand provided you have the necessary secondaries for it. So there, basically, you have your fast close quarters one, you have your jack of all trades, you have your sniper rifle, your mid-range marksman rifle, and the final class I would really recommend just calling your refinement class. Now, I always get these things in games where people say, this is the best gun ever, it does X, Y, Z, but the truth be told is that the best gun are the guns you feel comfortable with and feel as though you know the best. So choose a weapon that you're like, I like this gun, let me just kind of cut and chop and change as I feel necessary. If you notice something feels off, change it. That's the option you have available. And that, in the future, may very well become your primary class, or maybe your jack of all trades class because you have a gun that you feel comfortable with in multiple situations. But that's about it from me today, the Tactical Brit. Let me know if this video was useful to you today. Again, like I said, really do keep an eye out on my social media, my Twitter especially, Instagram, YouTube, everything, because I'm doing some really cool stuff for this beta. The guys over at Call of Duty have very much got some cool shit going on, and I'm really excited to share that with you. But let me know what you think. Do you have any hot tips for the beta? As always, folks, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in another video, and see you soon.